Sri Dharambir Gandhi ji. Dharambir Gandhi ji.
Yes, he's there.
You please be seated. Please be seated. Sri Dharambir Gandhi ji. You start, please. Where is Dharambir Gandhi ji?
Sir, thank you, sir, for allowing me to speak on the budget. I am thankful to the chair as well as to my party, which has allowed me to be before you and before the country to give my comments on the present budget 2025-26. Sir, before I go to a regular comment on the budget, I would like to raise a basic question that India is a union of states, which simply means that it is not our country, India, which carved out states. It means that it's the states like Punjab, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu or Bengal, which submerged their identities and made this country. It is we who made India, and not India carved out states. So states are primary, and our constitution makers and our forefathers have rightly said that there is a union of states. So I would like to say that this budget, the entire budget making process and the budget itself is unitary in nature and not federal. The states have either little or practically no say in making the budget, and the spirit of constitution is being trampled from year to year by the budgetary process. So, sir, if we look at the overall scenario,
MOS is sitting here. MOS is sitting
the
here.
states are primary. India is a diverse country. India is a country of various different identities,
MOS is capable. MOS is capable.
linguistic.
Please be seated. Please.
धर्मवीर गांधी जी बोलना चाहते हैं आप?
हाँ, thank you, sir.
जी बोलना चाहते हैं क्या आप?
I'm going to speak on budget, sir.
बोलिए.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to speak on the budget 25-26. And I thank you, my party, also for giving me this opportunity. Sir, at the outset, before I go for my regular comments on the budget, I would like to address to a basic question that India, as per our constitution, is a union of states. And the budget itself and the entire budgetary process is not federal in nature, it is unitary in nature, and the states have neither been consulted exhaustively, not allowed to participate in the budget making process. So that this is anti-federal, this is against the spirit of federalism and spirit of the constitution. So here I want to say that India, our country, is not India that carved out states out of it like Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu or Bengal. Instead, it is the states which submerged their identities and made this country. So in the budget making process, this entire concept of a federal structure is being mitigated, is being destroyed, and not being taken into consideration. And the budget is unitary in nature. You are homogenizing the country. Every state had its own problems, own specificities, own particularities in education, in health, even disease patterns different in many states. It is own needs and priorities. They are never taken into consideration. They are never consulted. So budget is made while sitting in the rooms, and the states are not exhaustively consulted in making this budget. This is my first contention on this budget, stating thereby that it is unitary in nature and not federal, number one. And secondly, sir, this budget is not just question of data here and there, some promises here and there. It's about the nature, how the present government is going to mobilize, is going to use our resources to benefit the people of India, to benefit the entire population, and again, going back to the federal character, I say that where the entire GDP is produced, it's the states. Where the entire sources of the country located, it's the states. Where entire wealth generation takes place, it's the states again. But when it comes to budget, nobody bothers about the concerns of the states. So country is not just a geographical entity. A country means the country itself, the geographical country itself. A country means the resources of the country, and a country means most importantly, the most livid part of it, the people of the country. That's 142 crore people of India. So budget means that it should be directed in a way so that the people of the country are given the benefits of the natural resources. Their suffering are mitigated, and according to the commensurating with the modern level of development and modern level of economic and human development in the world. And so this budget, I will comment from this perspective. So I believe that budget is not, it should like one that guarantees work for every hand, that guarantees education for every child, and for standard health care for every family, and where a farmer in the field, or a worker in a factory, or an entrepreneur in a small town, or a student in a remote village finds hope and opportunity, sir. In this context and under these broad considerations and parameters, which include, of course, the inclusive growth, sustainable development, and future where fruits of development and prosperity is shared by all. So, sir, now let me talk on my first comment, that is agriculture. Sir, in spite of the fact that major part of GDP into 2025 comes from either manufacturing or from the service sector, and only 15% is contributed by agrarian sector. But the fact of the matter is that still agriculture remains the employer for 45% of our population. It is the employer 45. Almost half of our population relies on agriculture for their livelihood, for their employment. So this sector has been neglected very badly, not during past years, but even in this budget. And this government has little to offer to the farmers and the farming community or the labor community of this country in this budget. And sir, the present regime has a very skewed approach towards the farming community and in favor of the few mega corporate houses, and therefore it did not offer any relief to the farmers as regard to the legal guarantee on MSP, waiving of loans of farmers and the farming laborers, and not lifting or withdrawing GST on the farming equipments and machinery, and not giving a robust farm insurance or crop insurance scheme in the budget, sir. So it has totally failed to address the grievances of our farming community, and there is a lot of unrest all over the country, which is evident from the ongoing agitations all over the country, and thousands of farmers are committing suicide every year across the country, and we are talking. So because the farming has become unsustainable and not unrenewable, it is an unprofitable proposition. So more and more people are going out of farming, and there is no industrial growth, corresponding industrial growth to absorb this surplus force, because of the government has not paid any attention on the development of MSME sectors, which can create jobs for the people who are leaving farming. So that's the result, that there is a ever-time high unemployment for the last 60 years in the country. It is a result of this gross unemployment situation that the sons and daughters of Punjab farmers, Haryana farmers, or Western UP farmers are going to greener pastures at the cost of their lives, and they are being humiliated the way they were sent back to Amritsar airport in a most humiliating and insulting manner. That shows that this government, which promised 2 crore jobs every year, has failed on this front very badly, and the youth of the country is in the total dark with total hopelessness, and they are compelled to leave their homes, their land, their parents, and go thousands of kilometers away to earn their livelihood. It is because of this government criminal neglect towards the farming sector and problems of the farmers, in spite of the fact that a long agitation took place where 800 farmers lost their lives, but it didn't concern our honorable finance minister to give some relief to the farmers. It did even pay a proper lip service. What all it did was it promised some paltry soaps like increasing loan limits without promising any real help to the farmer who is already indebted to the unsustainable level, sir. It is nothing less than rubbing salt on the wounds when it talks of, quote unquote, building and rural prosperity and resilience, quote unquote, by skilling and investment and bringing newer global technologies, again unquote. This is a plan more for a big agro corporation and companies like Bayer, Amazon, Google, and then a plan for debt-ridden Indian farmers, sir. So, sir, there are no provisions on the agro-based and value-added industry in the regions of Green Revolution to capture global markets, as is being done by China, Israel, and many Scandinavian countries. There are no budgetary plans to mitigate the suffering of rural India. So, this budget on the agrarian front is a total trash, total failure, and does not represent the aspiration of farmers, the majority of our Indian population. So, sir, because of the anti-farmer policies of the present government, as I already told you, that thousands of farmers are committing suicide every year, and further, because of farming being unsustainable and not a profitable profession, the farmers are leaving their lands, and they are not finding any suitable employment in the industry because industrial development is very sluggish, and MSME sector is not developing at a pace where farmers can be, the surplus labor, surplus force from the farming sector can be absorbed. So the growth there is abysmal, rather negative. So it is a great crisis where our farming community has landed into because of continuous neglect of this sector for the last 10 years. Sir, now let me talk on the small and medium, small and medium enterprises, sir. MSME, I believe, is a backbone of our Indian economy in a country like India, which is very thickly populated. The labor-intensive industry, which can only be the small and medium-scale industry, the corporate sector is not creating any jobs. There is 10,000 crore factory. There are machines only, computers only. There are assembly lines. 10,000 crore factory generates 500 jobs, whereas jobs lie in Ludhiana and Punjab, for example, in Kanpur and UP, for example, and such hundreds of such towns and cities across the country where MSME sector has been regularly, continuously neglected at the cost of few mega corporates, and which is dying away gradually. And in 2024 only, 19,828 MSME units were forced to close because of this financial mismanagement and misplaced priorities of the government. The Congress during its rule had championed the cause of small businesses. It introduced priority lending to the MSME, a robust rural banking system, which the BJP has failed to sustain. The budget has precious little to offer for reviving MSME sector, and through this reviving the economy, sir. And coming on to education, sir, Health and education are the two basic needs of every individual born on this earth, born in any country. If we talk of education, right to education is a fundamental right of every child. I must emphasize here that education does not mean just knowing how to read and write. Education means full-blown development of a personal faculties, mental faculties of a person. It's not just primary or secondary education. So this aspect is being criminally ignored, on which lies the foundation of a new
Again,
India
this word
by the government.
Should expunge. Off the record, this word.
So sir, not by government is not spending enough on education as compared to US, China and other advanced economies. There is a continuous neglect. The states are not consulted, their specific needs are not being addressed to, and over the years, the government is seen running away from its responsibility to impart standard education to its children, to its citizens. The government, because of this utter failure of the government, there's a mushrooming of private institutions, from school to colleges to universities, from medical to engineering institutions, and which has rendered education very costly and not students not eligible. They are not able to. They have no access to these costly institutions, and only the poor, not only the poor and underprivileged, but they have become unapproachable or unaffordable for the various section of middle classes also. So it's not the poor and the underprivileged. Even the middle class now cannot afford the private education of university and colleges and medical engineering colleges. So here the government did not take enough efforts to expand the budget, to increase the budget on education in a significant way, so that this problem of young India can be addressed to. This is in sharp contrast to our times, when primary to university education was within the very much reach of almost all sections of the society, sir. On research and analysis again, which is linked to it, to education and development, I will say that very paltry sum of budget is allotted to the research and development in the key sectors, in the important sectors, the new technologies, which is 0.64% of GDP, significantly lower than China and Israel and other advanced economies. Sir, the private sector is not doing enough to augment the developmental story of India. I know very well. I was a young man when our corporate sector, Tata's, for example, did wonders for the development of the country. Nobody invests in fundamental sciences. Tata, they built Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Tata Cancer Research Institute, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TISS, and many other institutions of world standard to augment Indian progress and to take further the story of developing India. But during the last 10 years, no corporate sector that has invested significantly in the R&D or in the development of standard institutions of engineering, technology, and other new technologies to take India forward. So this is a sad story. I don't know why governments have special attraction towards certain corporate houses, why those corporate houses are not investing enough to take India forward on way to recovery of economy and take India forward put in the race for an advanced economy. So it really disturbs me, because private sector in India is only contributing 36% to R&D, whereas Japan is contributing 70 or even 70, more than 75% to the R&D sector, which our corporates are doing little on this account also. So the profit-oriented, these private institutions in education sector are not only exploiting students and their parents, they are exploiting the teacher community also. The teachers from university to college level are not only very lowly paid, but they are also, the very respected and reverend profession of teaching is being mocked at by giving them either ad hoc or this or this TECA type system, which is contact system, which is not to the standard of teacher community. So they have reduced teaching into like a daily wage workers, which is a slur on all of us, on this government and on this country, that is, teachers are not being given proper pay so that they can devote all their time in their profession and they can take the country forward. So
that should be said.
The ongoing education system, moreover, does not invoke the sense of reason, inquiry, inquisitiveness, and scientific temper in our children. It does not fully unleash their creative and innovative potential. And health, sir, finally health. Madam Finance Minister, WHO long back gave a very great definition of health, very fine, very, very accurate definition of health. It states, and I quote, that health is not mere absence of disease or infirmity. It is a state of complete physical, social, and psychological well-being. So looking at all the three parameters of health, that is physical. If I talk of physical health, the problem of India are so great. We are deeply into a big problem. The physical health, because of chronic hunger, because of poverty, and because of malnutrition, lakhs of people die every year because of communicable diseases like TB, waterborne diseases like gastroenteritis, dehydration, and many other of the sort. On one hand, people are dying with the communicable diseases, waterborne diseases, and other hand, a small population is dying with lifestyle diseases like hypertension, diabetes, heart attack, dyslipidemia, and all that. So on physical front, we are practically poor because of malnutrition, because of communicable diseases, and because of waterborne diseases, and relatively affluent sections because of lifestyle diseases and the non-communicable diseases like cancer, accidents, and all that. So on physical health front, we are proven to be in a very bad shape. And sir, abhi to maine shuru kiya abhi to. And on the social front, even in the 21st century, the century of science, when we are living 21st century, our country is riddled with issues like caste chauvinism, religious chauvinism, gender chauvinism, and society is sick with all these medieval mindset, and we are behaving like a sick society of sick people who have a gender bias, religious bias, and caste bias, which is making our society very unhealthy one on the social front. Similarly, because of miseries, economic miseries, health problems, unemployment, the psychological health of Indian people is also very poor, and so all the parameters, we are in a very bad shape, and government should take care of all these problems. They take into consideration and bring a robust healthcare system. Of course, they did talk of cancer care centers in 170 districts and increase it in a phased manner. Yet it did not talk of preventive cancer detection, mass cancer detection center, which not only will detect cancer in first stage, where treatment is possible, it will not only save the life, but save the economy of the family also. So I think the government should come with a comprehensive cancer detection campaign, and screening of the all target population, for example, breast cancer in females, or cervical cancer in females, or the other oral cancer in tobacco chewers, and that target population should be marked, and their extensive screening program for early detection, early treatment should be started. Instead of just focusing on the curative approach, we should focus on the preventive approach on diseases like cancer and other such ailments, including the lifestyle diseases like blood pressure, hypertension, coronary artery disease, heart attack, and all that. We should go for mass education program and mass contact program to
Thank you.
educate people, to make people aware of this problem and work on the preventive approach.
Thank you, honourable member. Now I request.
No, sir,
Please
sir,
conclude.
sir, I have
Please conclude.
I should have
You have
20 minutes, sir, 20 minutes.
Number of speakers from your party. You
No,
please.
but sir, I am the principal speaker on it, sir. So, sir,
Please conclude.
ma'am, I will tell you that the disease pattern in a particular country changes with the conditions of that country, economic conditions of a country. For example, one economic set conditions have one set of diseases, and another economic set has another set of another set of people. But India is embroiled in the both the sets for the poor, disease of the poor and disease of the rich. So we should take proper attention in tending to both the twin problems of health in our country. So, sir, on fiscal deficit, the government has patted its back for bringing down fiscal deficit by 2024-25 from projected 4.9 to 4.8 and further promises to bring it down to 4.4 in 25-26. But one has to ask, how is it going to be done? Who is being asked to tighten the belt? Given the hardship that people are facing today, given the dire condition in the economy, the first thing that a government should do is to increase the spending on social sector. Instead, this expenditure, especially on health and education, is either stagnating or even contracting relative to the overall growth of the government expenditure. The fiscal deficit is being controlled at the cost of social sector, sir. And this is happening at a time when only 2/3 of government revenue comes from direct taxes and borrowing, and only 1/3 is coming from income and corporate sector. Poor pay the GST and the excessive tax on petroleum. They are resented, denied help from government in education, health, water and sanitation, other basic services, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, the tax relief.
Thank you. Please.
The headlines
please
have been
complete
grabbed
in a
by
sentence.
tax relief,
Please
sir.
complete.
And sir, I will go, sir. The unemployment, sir. Sir, give me 5 minutes only. Unemployment. India had and still has the strongest demographic dividend for being the youngest nation in the world, which means we have 600 million people, 60 crore people. That is equal to population of entire Europe, who are in the young working age group from 18 to 35. Such a huge population. Sir, this is young India, which has the potential, this aspirational India, which can open floodgates of development if given an opportunity to utilize the potential at the optimal level.
Thank you, honourable member. Thank you.
No,
Please
sir,
conclude.
No, sir, please. Sir, please.
No, you have a number of speakers to speak.
People, sir, and finally,
Yes.
people of India are reeling under unprecedented hardships and economic stress. The budget should always be an instrument in the hands of the government to improve the lives of the people, but no such, and especially in such conditions.
Thank you, honourable member.
It
Now
should not
I
be,
call
but sir, it should
Sri
not
Rao
be. It should not be
Rajendra
aimed at
Singh ji.